Do you know your bone density level? And why is that so important? Kathleen Cody is a board member of Healthy Bones Tampa Bay. She's also the executive director of American Bone Health, and she is here this morning to put our bones to the test. Good morning, Kathleen. Thanks for being with us.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, Kendall.
I want to start by asking you about the bone health crisis in Tampa Bay. You say there is one. I was not aware of this. Why are we in a bone crisis here?
Well, we looked at fracture rates all across the country, and for its size, Tampa Bay region has more fractures than any other similarly sized community in the whole country. So that's why we came here to create Healthy Bones Tampa Bay, so that we could make a change and make sure that people can age in a way that they can stay healthy and independent.
Why is this kind of thing so worrisome and such a concern for us as we age?
Well, a fracture, especially a hip fracture, can be devastating, not only devastating, but deadly. And it often will signal the end of, independence for many older adults. It's the worst thing that anybody could ever have happen to them. And I know many people who have known somebody who's had a fracture and gone to the hospital and never came home.
Yeah, that is devastating. I'm learning a lot of new terms here with you today. And as I was getting ready for this interview, T-score is one of them. What is a T-score? And why is it so important that we all know what ours is?
Yeah, T-score, one of the things that we're doing here today is we're actually doing a bone density screening with this new device from Italy called ECHO-S. And it produces a result that's called a T-score. And the importance of a T-score is that it better predicts your chances of breaking a bone than your cholesterol predicts for a heart attack, or your blood pressure predicts of having a stroke. So it's a really important test result to know. And if you don't know your T-score, you need to talk to your healthcare provider about getting that T-score.
What about age? Because a lot of what we're talking about today, you just think of something that we need to worry about in our senior years. Is that true or no?
Now, bone health is an issue for people of all ages. Kids need to build their bones so that they'll get a peak optimal bone mass by the age they're 30. That's all the bone they'll ever get in their entire lifetime. And then as you get older, you need to work at preventing bone loss, especially when you get to be about age 50 for women, when you start losing estrogen at menopause. And that'll cause a rapid decrease in bone density. So we want to make sure that people know what to do to prevent rapid bone loss and also to prevent fractures. So it's something that you need to pay attention to all of your life.
Will you explain a little bit more about how this machine behind you works? First off, how available is it here in Tampa Bay? How old do we need to be maybe to start getting a test like that? How can we get that test, and how does it work?
Well, one of the first things you could do for your viewers is they could go and do a fracture risk assessment that's on our website. They use a calculator to tell them what their risk of breaking a bone is. Then they could take that assessment and go to their doctor and say, I'm at an elevated risk for breaking a bone, and I need to have a test to determine what my bone density is. This is new technology. It's from Italy. It's just getting launched in the U.S. It looks at the bone density of the spine and at the hip. And that's very important for us to know, because those are the areas that are really fragile and most at risk for breaking.
I know you have a little prop here, and I want to make sure we get to that before we go. We have about a minute left. Tell me about that and what it is showing.
Okay, so they're measuring the spine behind me. And this is a cross-section of a spine, and it's a really delicate bone. You can see that this is good bone. As you lose bone density, the bone starts to get kind of holy. And then if you put undue forward flexion or twisting on it, the bone will actually collapse. So that's when you see individuals who start to have that hump in the back. If you've lost more than 1.5 inches of height, it's probably because you're having fractures in the spine. It's totally preventable with good body mechanics and excellent posture. People just need to know what to do to prevent those kinds of fractures from happening.
We have about 30 seconds, Kathleen. What can we all do every day to improve our bone health before we let you go?
Healthy nutrition with calcium, vitamin D, magnesium. As you get older, you really need to be paying attention to your protein intake, and you need to do exercise. I know it's hard during COVID, but people need to get up out of the chairs. Sitting, we're thinking, is the new smoking. So people need to be active. They need to be doing weight-bearing activities to keep the muscles and the bones strong, and definitely prevent falls. So clean up all that clutter around your house. Watch for your kittens and your dogs that are running around your feet. Don't fall and don't fracture. And get your assessment and get a DEXA. That will start a bone health journey for everyone.
Lots of really important information. Kathleen, thank you. We appreciate your time this morning.
You're welcome.
Here in Tampa Bay. Know your T-score, everybody. You can learn a lot more about bone health at americanbonehealth.org/HBTB. That stands for Healthy Bones Tampa Bay.